Please, after this day, don't call me MVP because until I win it again next year.
That video you saw right there, that was Giannis in the 2019 offseason basically calling his shot and saying he was going to win MVP in the 2020 season. And I have to give a spoiler alert because some of you guys may not know, Giannis is going to win the 2020 MVP. And this may come to a shock to my Laker fans, LeBron fans, or even people in the media like Rachel Nichols, Colin Cowherd, Jason McIntyre, Nick Wright, just to name a few. But Giannis, he is going to win the 2020 MVP. The only real question regarding Giannis' MVP is whether it's going to be unanimous or not. I don't think it's going to be unanimous, but I do think he's undoubtedly the MVP because so far this season, Giannis has taken his game to the next level. He's averaging 29.6 points per game. That's the third most in the NBA at this point, and that's also a career high in points per game for Giannis. He's averaging 13.8 rebounds per game. That's the fourth most in the NBA. 5.8 assists, 1 block and 1 steal, shooting 55% from the field, including 31% from 3. That is much improved from last year, especially considering he's taking around 5 threes per game. So he's got the volume and he's got a pretty good percentage, especially considering where he was last year. And if you're into advanced stats, Giannis' PER currently, it's tied for the highest in NBA history with Wilt Chamberlain at 31.82. And if you don't think that's crazy enough, Giannis is doing all this in under 31 minutes per game at 30.8 minutes. That's going to be the lowest minutes per game average for an MVP in NBA history. Yes, you heard that correct. That's going to be the lowest minutes per game total, lower than MVP Curry, lower than 2015 Curry, and even lower than Bill Walton. So that does bring me to my next point and the overall topic of the video. Could Giannis end up having the best season in NBA history? I know that may sound ridiculous, but by the end of the video, I'm sure you'll be convinced and persuaded that Giannis definitely has a shot at having one of the best seasons, if not the best season in NBA history. So as you guys already know, Giannis, he's gonna win the MVP, but I do not think it's gonna be unanimous. I think LeBron James, I think he has a distant second, but I think there's enough people in the media, and I think some of the voters, they'll just be tempted to throw LeBron a first place vote. So I don't think Giannis will get that unanimous MVP, but I think he definitely will end up winning the MVP. And something that's not really talked about is the Defensive Player of the Year race. Right now, you got names in there like Rudy Gobert, Anthony Davis, as well as Ben Simmons and even Giannis. And just like the MVP, I think Giannis actually should be the Defensive Player of the Year. He can truly guard 1 through 5 positions. He impacts every facet of the court. He can guard the point guard, guard the center. He can guard the pick and roll and guard the lob. He's a great rim protector. He can get in the passing lane, get quick steals. I mean, he really does everything you want in a modern day defender. And coming off last year's great defensive season, where Giannis actually finished second in the Defensive Player of the Year voting, he's taken it to a next level this year. He actually has the best defensive rating in the NBA at 96.3, and he has the most defensive win shares at .207. I know defensive stats, they're not that great, but if you watch the games, understand what you're watching, I think Giannis, I think he is clearly one of the best players in the NBA when it comes to being a great defender. The Bucks also have the best defensive rating in the league at 101. So if you combine the stats and the eye test, I think Giannis, I think he should be the Defensive Player of the Year. But again, you always do have strong candidates like Rudy Gobert, Ben Simmons, etc. And just for some perspective, there's only been 2 players in NBA history who have ever won the MVP of the Defensive Player of the Year in the exact same season, those being Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon. There's also only been 4 players in NBA history who have won both the MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year in their entire careers, that being Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Kevin Garnett, and David Robinson. So if Giannis does this, that'll be a great historical achievement that I think only adds to the case of having the greatest season in NBA history. And the icing on the cake for me of this being one of the greatest seasons ever, even though it's not even over yet, is the fact that the Bucks right now, they have a 53-8 record, and they're on pace to win 70 games. And as you know, the only 2 teams to ever do that were the 2016 Golden State Warriors, who would eventually lose in the finals, and the 96 Bulls, who would actually finish the job and win the championship. So if Giannis can lead this Bucks team to 70 wins, that puts him in even more elite company. And I just want to look at this hypothetical regular season. If Giannis can lead the Bucks to 70 wins, that's a huge check mark. If he wins the MVP and Defensive Player of the Year, that's 2 other huge check marks. But the thing for me that will really take it over the top and make it the greatest season of all time is if Giannis can somehow lead this Bucks team to a championship. And I don't want to downgrade Giannis' teammates. Chris Middleton is having an underrated great season, but Giannis doesn't really have another co-superstar like Kawhi. Kawhi is Paul George, And LeBron, he has Anthony Davis. Giannis, he is doing this with a star in Chris Middleton, but he's not really doing it with an established superstar like those other two guys. So if Giannis can find a way to make it out of the Eastern Conference and match up with either the Lakers, the Clippers, or maybe even the Rockets or Nuggets in the finals, and possibly beat that team while winning the Finals MVP, that would give his 2020 season almost an impeccable resume that I don't think we matched. The only player I can think of who would be close to this resume is Hakeem Olajuwon. So let's take a look at Giannis' hypothetical 2020 player resume. He would have the MVP award, which still has an outside chance of being unanimous. He would have the Defensive Player of the Year award. Combine that with the fact that he led his team to 70 wins, another huge plus, making the NBA Finals, performing well in those finals, winning the Finals MVP, and winning the championship. The only player that's comparable to, as I said before, is Hakeem Olajuwon. And recently I made a video of the top 10 seasons of all time, and I actually had Olajuwon's 94 season as the greatest season of all time. And if I had to compare Giannis' hypothetical season to Hakeem's 94 season, I would give Giannis the edge over Hakeem because Giannis led his team to 70 wins in the regular season. So I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about that we're in the midst of possibly one of the greatest seasons of all time. And I am really rooting for Giannis this postseason after all the James Harden stuff and all the criticism he's received lately, whether it's been deserved or not. People have really been taking some shots at Giannis, and I do want to see him break through and finally make the finals. I still don't think the Bucks will win the championship, but I mean, if Giannis does, I'm going to be there supporting him because I really want to see history be made, and I want to see him have one of the greatest seasons of all time. And if he accomplishes everything I set out in this video, he will definitely have one of the top 3 seasons of all time, if not the greatest. And in my mind, if Giannis does all the things I set out, he will have had the greatest season of all time. So that is the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Giannis should be the unanimous MVP? Do you think he should win the Defensive Player of the Year award? Do you think the Bucks should win the championship? Let me know your questions below. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Liking the video helps a lot, gets the engagement up. And I will try to get to all the comments, answer any questions you guys have. And I'm really looking forward to this Lakers-Bucks game tonight. Keep in mind, I'm making this video about 8 hours before, but I don't think that'll change anything I said in this video. So once again, thank you guys for watching. I post videos at least once a week, sometimes twice. And if you like this content, just subscribe. So thanks for watching.